Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Bunny Show Live. We have been all busy in the chats, and now I'm ready to get going in real life. We're talking about fucking girls into an oblivion. Look who put a first coat on my new wall. You know why? Because I'm part of that show tonight. I'm getting on Tony Bruno's reality check tonight. We're going to talk about attraction versus sexual attraction, and I could not possibly get away with having white walls for that. So anything that stimulates getting stuff done works for me. I've got my coffee. I forgot my water in the car. This is how this morning's going, and that's okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. How are things in your neck of the woods? I've been talking to Eric. I've been talking to Baron. Now C-Train, you've got in the mix. I love it. I put the notification to Tony Bruno's show in the top of the chat box. So if you are around, I would love to have some familiar faces. Oh, Eric saying good morning. Baron saying good morning in his own way. I am thrilled to see you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let us find out what is going on in the interweb. It was definitely busy last night. Let's see how busy things are this morning. This entire disappear for 6 months and build is shit advice. Average businesses take 7 to 10 years to become established. You're going to be gone a long time. This is really good advice. So the problem with, I don't know about you guys. I get these ads for and videos and just people trying to put it in front of me that, disappear for 6 months and work on building your empire and all this stuff. And it's great advice. Like, I get it. But like Fort Worth is saying here, when you've actually been in business for a long time, and if you have a mentor who has built their own business, or you have like people that are older and have gone ahead of you, you understand that the problem with thinking you're going to build a business in 6 months is that it takes 5 to 7 years to see everything that you're going to see in that industry, to see everything that you're going to see in that business. So yes, you can grind for 6 months, but then you need to plan on grinding for another 6 and another 6 and another 6. There are times when maybe it lets up a little bit. Let's see, monk mode isn't the way to go. Yeah, sacrificing, this is a great point, Eric. Sacrificing your social interactions is not necessarily a healthy way to go for most people. The social connections that you have go a long way. Guys got to grind, but also grind. I like that. Let's see. Exactly. Baron, you can work 84-hour weeks for a year and still go on dates. It's awful, but I've done it. 1000%. There are 168 hours in a week. Now, I saw something super fascinating. I thought it was super fascinating. I had never heard it put this way before. Like last week, that was talking about breaking the normal day. This isn't even like cutting into sleep time. Breaking the normal day into 3 days. And it was 6 a.m. to noon, noon to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to midnight. 3 days. And for whatever reason, because I am a productivity hack human being, and I love just being as efficient and effective as possible in all things, I was just like so thrilled to hear this, because it is true. Like, one thing that Fort Worth and I talk about quite a bit, particularly when it comes to business, is everyone has about 4 really high quality hours of creative productivity in their brains each day. And oftentimes that is like earlier rather than later. Oftentimes you need to like get that checked off pretty early, before you can possibly have any distractions that are going to get in your way. So, but I loved this concept of 6 kind of chunks of workspace. This isn't color blocking. This isn't like time blocking and things like that. This is literally like imagining yourself as having 3 separate 6-hour days or shifts within your waking time, and how much more that you could accomplish. So, Eric, let's see. I've been on survival mode lately, financially speaking, but it moved. But I've been spending my day focused on applying for dozens of jobs and also my entrepreneurial endeavors. Remaining hours internalizing game. Perfect. You are doing it right. You're doing it right. Attracting hot women and building a business go hand in hand. The women you attract can bring in business connections that fuel business, which maxes output, brings more women and connections. Absolutely. Well, and the confidence that you have from being productive. This is why at the end of pretty much every show on here, I tell you, go lift heavy weights, builds confidence. We were talking about that in the chat before we went live. Then have sex, that is an awesome confidence builder. And accomplish something. Be productive, accomplish something, be effective in your day. These are all important characteristics to have to build yourself and your confidence. So all of that because of Fort Worth's tweet here. Let's see. My problem is I start catching feelings 3 months after I stop talking to a chick. That's fascinating to me, because especially coming from Stephen's story. If you guys did not catch my Bunny interview with Stephen's story, I hope that you will track that one down. It's on our YouTube channel, at the Fort Worth Playboy YouTube channel. Search Stephen's story or go to my Bunny interviews playlist and you will find him there. We had a great talk about being location independent, financially able to be location independent and still live a lucrative, wonderful life. He is an awesome playboy and player, and he's got a great personality and story to boot. So if you did not catch our interview, I hope that you will look that up. But how many of you fall into this where it's only kind of once a girl has either fallen by the wayside on her own, like maybe she said, this other guy that I've been seeing I think he's going to get pretty serious, so I need to go on and back off from you. Or maybe she was a rotation girl. She just kind of fell off. When you're running 2, 3, 4, 10 girls at a time, a few of them, the ones that aren't like enthusiastically pursuing you and making sure that they're in front of you as much as possible, tend to fall off, and you tend not to notice. So it's fascinating to hear Stephen say, my problem is I catch feelings 3 months after I stop talking to a chick. So how many of you deal with something similar to this? I want to see what, Oh, yes, this is an important point. Barron says, you don't remember all the annoying stuff, just the cute stuff. That's exactly right. And that's also the danger of just like going through any kind of breakup and any kind of nostalgia, is that you tend to, the more distance you have, the less you kind of remember the bad stuff or the reason that you broke up, and the more you remember the sweet stuff, the things that made you happy, the good feelings that you had. And so that is the danger. And that's where people will kind of circle back and try dating again. And then this is why every time you guys are like, hey Bunny, should I take this girl back, or should I, my ex reached out and, I've been thinking about her and I think I'm going to give it another try. And I always say, are you sure? Are you sure? Because very rarely do the problems that broke you up in the first place disappear. Oftentimes, when you get back with a girl, it's fucking awesome for about 5 days. About 5 days. 1 week tops. And the old shit just starts coming up. It comes up hard and fast. And then within a week, oftentimes you're at each other's throats because you're arguing about the same things that you've already been arguing about for the whole amount of time before you broke up. So it's an interesting dichotomy. So let's go through this. Even I admit this, even if I attract a woman, even if down the road I'd want a ride or die woman, catching feelings is easily something I'm wary of. Never know if you fall off your rocker. That's a good point. It's almost like sometimes you can't trust your feelings. If you catch feelings too hard, it's like, what are you thinking with? Not too distant future goals, dating and fucking around down the road. Yes, a ride or die woman. Yeah, absolutely. Baron says it usually hits when you're struggling with something else, work, family, money. When you're feeling beat up, you start to miss the girl. Absolutely. That is a great point. It's when you need some familiarity and comfort that you crave someone that you are familiar with. So that's where the catching feelings kind of after the fact definitely applies. Yeah, definitely applies. Woo, Tony Bruno, we were just talking about your show and I was sharing that link, and we are super pumped for tonight's show. And I hope that everyone in my usual viewing audience is able to tune in tonight for that, because it's going to be a great conversation about attraction versus sexual attraction. Tony, I'm so glad you dropped by. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Baron has, I think, a great point that it's the familiarity that you need when you're struggling with other things in life. You need something to just be normal, familiar, steadfast. And that's where kind of circling back to girls that you once knew goes a long way. It goes a long way. Let's see. Hold that thought. To build off what Baron said, Bunny I mentioned previously that I'm the type of guy who'd rather handle the burden of my struggles alone because yeah, absolutely. Some guys want to, like, if you're sick, if you're struggling, if you're going through hard times, you don't want anyone to see it. When I'm in a bad mood, because it's relatively rare, if I'm sick, which is relatively rare, I don't like other people to see me not feeling good, not, feeling my best, not having energy or enthusiasm. And so I tend to be like that also, Eric, where I kind of like hide away when things aren't going well, because I don't want anybody relating with me like a negative side or kind of a puny or dark side. So I totally get that. But that being said, even if I'm struggling somewhere or dealing with personal shit, I'd rather my woman not get involved. I'll support her struggles, but don't really want her involved in mine. And that's a good point also that for Worth that I talk about a lot, is that oftentimes men tend to want to, because they're sharing life with a girlfriend or a wife. But the problem is the more of your struggles that you share with her, oftentimes there's nothing she can do about it, but she wants to try. So this kind of causes her brain to spin. Like, let's say you're going through a financial struggle. A lot of times, the more the girl knows about it, kind of the worse she makes things, because suddenly, for worst, best example is she's like, so suddenly she's like canceling, your Netflix subscription and your Hulu subscription, your HBO Plus subscription, and all of these different like things to try to save, $15 here, $9 here, $10 here, when it's thousands upon thousands of dollars that are actually causing the problem. And you go to try to escape from all of the struggles that you're having. Let's say in this example, financially, you plop down on the couch or in your recliner to watch Netflix and chill, and it's gone. She's canceled it because you told her that you're struggling financially. So instead of, I don't know, randomly finding $10,000, in a savings account that you forgot you had, instead she saved you $90, and all of the ways that you like to relax are now gone. Exactly. Babe, stop helping. So that's where telling girls your struggles oftentimes kind of kicks your own ass and does not work out very well. Don't worry about it. I'm handling it 1000%. But even her knowing it, she tends to then follow up, ask questions, kind of act on her own without your advisement. So the less that you can possibly tell a girl, the better. Now this is what I love about waking up with Bunny, is as we go through some of the conversations that just start with a tweet like Steven's about, I catch feelings 3 months after I stop talking to a chick, and ends up in talking about like going through struggles and hard times and how to deal with it and how some people deal with it, and how you need some familiarity. And that's where like this all comes full circle and is a great long tail conversation. So this is where I love you guys joining in the chat, joining in the conversation, and adding so much depth to what we see just in little tweets, in little 240 characters. Like, this is awesome. I love it. Love it. Let's see. Steven's story some more. Fort Worth some more. Genius. If anybody struggles with that's pretty cool. If anybody struggles with slicing onion, I always do them way too thick. This is genius. I love that. Okay, we've watched that enough. Hillary Duff. She was always cute, but she's definitely getting shapeless. I don't know how old she is right now. I know she's younger than me, but still. Whoo, good question. Would you rather have a cook or a maid? I love to cook. I think a lot of people love to cook but hate to clean up, or are great at the cleaning stuff and don't necessarily want to be the one to cook. This is a very good question. I love that. I personally prefer to have someone who does like the deep cleaning. I'm kind of obsessive about it. I love to clean, but I feel like I don't always have the time to clean as deeply as I'd like. So I like to hire someone to come in every 2 weeks or month on the very longest stretch, just to do like the deep stuff that I don't get around to. all the time, as often as I would like. It just makes it so satisfying. I know a drug deal when I see one. Oh. It'd be an innocent meeting between friends if they were polar bears, wouldn't it, instead of black bears? That's pretty fucking funny. That's pretty fucking funny. Oh. Let's see. Money will not fix all your problems. Bitch, no offense, but money would solve literally every single one of my problems, like all of them. I don't have a single problem that money wouldn't immediately solve. And that's true with most people. You know, money doesn't solve the problems. You end up with like a different kind of problem. But so many problems do stem from a lack of money, limited income, fixed income. There's just a freedom that comes with solving a lot of problems that money is absolutely 1000% responsible for. So, bitch, no offense, but money would actually solve every single one of them. I love photography and video hacks. I guess that's just a girl thing because I utilize almost like none of them. I take pictures of my kids and that's pretty much it. And then Fort Worth and I take annoying photos of one another. But short of that, I don't utilize any of them. And yet I love all of them. Great advice. Great advice. Your kids are not adults. Stop treating them like it. You need patience, guidance. They need patience, guidance, love, connection, and understanding. Mainly, your kids are not adults. Stop treating them like that. It is such a conundrum that parents have. And if you guys are parents, you can attest to this. Once the kids are like tall enough, they're like adult size or getting there, you know, you can essentially look at them eye to eye or look up to them. It's like a mental mind fuck that their brains are not fully developed yet. You know, I used to tell a phrase that my kids got very sick of hearing was, your brain is not fully formed until you're 24. Now, my oldest child, that not that I've raised because I had 2 older stepsons, but my oldest son is now 24. I still have 2 more whose brains are not fully formed yet. So all of their cognitive ability, all of their decision making, it's still not fully formed yet. And yet they're all taller than me. They're all incredibly mature and intelligent human beings. And yet they absolutely are not capable of truly making all the adult decisions yet. So this is a great lesson. Again, I always said, I'm not raising children. I'm raising people to be adults, to be productive members of society. So this is a great tweet from Tim. Well done, Tim. Well done. That's an important lesson for anyone who's ever going to be a parent. Let's see. Hottest celebrity tournament. Game on. We have our first champ, and it's Scarlett Johansson. Thanks to everyone who voted. That's awesome. Would you like us to make more tournaments like this? That's awesome. Scarlett Johansson is like incredibly hot. I love that. I love that. That's awesome. I didn't know that contest was going on. Let's see what this is. I always love this channel. Out of context. And that is the perfect example of how girls play games. I mean, seriously, Not only does she shove one ball just out of the way as if that's legal, but then she sinks the wrong fucking ball because she's a moron. That's pretty indicative of just the way that we females go through life on balls and holes. Well played, Eric. Oh my gosh. Let's see. He gonna sneeze once and turn an active shooter. That's terrible. This poor man cannot have walked out thinking that that was a good idea. He's gonna sneeze once and turn into an active shooter with them buttons. That is fucking hilarious. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, guys, I fucking love this. Let's see. We're gonna, I want you, if at all possible, to tune in. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. To tune in tonight for Tony Bruno's reality check. So it is 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. What we're going to talk about is the differences and similarities, the nuances of attraction versus sexual attraction. I am pretty pumped about this. I think that we can look at this a whole number of ways. If you have ever followed me, purchased anything from me, or signed up on any of my newsletters, then you got an email from me a couple of days ago that kind of gave you my preemptive thoughts about attraction versus sexual attraction. And I want your take. I really want to be able to make sure that before I go on live with Tony tonight, that I've kind of heard some of the popular beliefs and arguments, so to speak, as to what the differences are, what the similarities are, how men and women view attraction and sexual attraction differently. So I really hope that you guys will, I'm going to put it in here again. I hope that you guys will tune in, because quite honestly, I would love to see some familiar faces in the chat. Also, yes, the Morning Hustle, baby. Morning Hustle with Fort Worth and Bunny is in, everything is locking up. Sorry, is in 2.5 hours at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, Eric, for always remembering our fun stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope to see you guys pretty much live all day long. I just want to spend my day with you guys. So thank you for waking up with Bunny this morning. Thank you for tuning into the Morning Hustle with Fort Worth and I at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And thank you to those of you who jumped into that Tony Bruno reality check and went ahead and turned on the notification for that. That is going to be a fun, long-reaching time. I am planning on being on there probably until about midnight tonight, which means tomorrow morning's wake-up show may be a little rough, but we're going to have fun as always, and I appreciate you tuning in today and every day. Now, go lift heavy things. Go have some hot sex and go accomplish something. I want you to win the day. Bye.